woman is the backbone of the black family. Something like that. That's exactly what he said. African American woman is the backbone of the family. Now, knowing what I know now, I want you to know I just recently stumbled upon all this information over the past 6 months where I'm really, in another headspace, enlightened about our culture and who I am as a black woman and what we really represent in this country. But knowing that I may never see a change now, but I know that I no longer want to live mentally in that space that I once was in, now that I know what I know, with all the degrees that I have, 2 masters in education and administration, and retired police officer turned teacher, play all these instruments. I'm so well versed that I did not even know my own history. That's how bad it is. And if I'm walking around ignorant, imagine how many other black people are walking around in space not knowing what I know now. Nevertheless, the actor, again, who's a very popular actor, I don't remember his name, mentioned it or says in the movie that the African American woman is the backbone of the family. And I want you to now know when he said that, boom, it resonated with me because I know I've been reading. And the Willie Lynch letter is one of the books that I've been reading. The Willie Lynch letter and The Making of a Slave. And this book, OMG, the things that I did not know that exist today that I see is still happening today. This is a gentleman, a man who had maybe over X amount of slaves, hundreds of slaves in the Caribbean. And they had invited him to the South to discuss how he's able to manage his slaves. How are you able to do such a good, job with your slaves and not having to kill them off? Can you come and share with us, enlighten us, tell us how you were able to do it? And so he came to the States in the South, and he stood on the gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. So 1712. I first thank you, gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve your problems with slaves.
Today's video will be about the Willie Lynch letter and how it correlates to today's black society, today's society in general. And I've read some of the Willie Lynch letters. Like my dad's even read it to us before, and he told us about it, of course. And I've read some of it, but it was when I was younger, so I didn't really completely understand it as much as I do now. So I literally just read it yesterday. I made this video yesterday, but I'm doing it over because I didn't really like how it turned out. I was just kind of emotional with it because I had just read the letter, so I was really in my feelings. So now I'm a little bit calmer. You know what I'm saying? I get my thoughts together. I'm gonna get this shit right this time. Gotcha. All right. So basically, the main theme throughout the whole letter, which was my bad, tongue tied, which was separating the black family, destroying black unity, destroying the black male image, and being completely dependent on white people on the system. So that was basically the main theme throughout the entire what's called. Oh, and right quick before I get into it, I know some people are like, oh my gosh, the Willie Lynch letter is not real. He never existed. This shit came up in the 90s. It was made in 1712. So look, honestly, whether the shit was made by Willie Lynch, whether Willie Lynch was real, is irrelevant to me. The context of what the fuck was in that letter, come on, it's undeniably factual. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, regardless of if whoever wrote it, somebody wrote it. Somebody knew what the hell they was talking about because the shit is real, for real. So I mean, the legitimacy of whoever wrote it is irrelevant to me, honestly. The context of what was in it matters so much more. I just had to get that away. But that was the main thing, though, breaking down black unity so they can basically have they brought this guy Willie Lynch out. Let me just give y'all a little backstory. They brought this guy Willie Lynch out. If you haven't read it, you need to read it, especially if you're black. They brought this guy Willie Lynch out to Virginia. He was from the West Indies supposedly, and they had trouble in Virginia. They had trouble controlling their slaves. The slaves kept having uproars, and crops was going bad because wasn't nobody trying to pick no cotton or I'm saying tend to the crops and stuff like that. They had a lot of slaves burned away. Bunch of stuff going on. They needed help controlling their slaves. They didn't know how to do it. So Willie Lynch comes over here, like, yo, I got this pamphlet for y'all, basically a little guideline to outline how to control your slaves. What's the best way to control your slaves, and how this system will basically keep them in place, keep them in dependency, this dependent cycle for like 300 years, and maybe impossibly forever if it works that well. If they don't have a phenomenon of basically, really, we got to do this on this. We got to do this on this video. Out of all motherfucking videos, God, that that I need to stand, please. Anyways, I need a camera, please. Anyways, nah. Um. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, so they wouldn't have any. Oh yeah, so this system will work within for 300 plus years or forever, depending on if they don't have, depending on if we don't have a phenomenon of this like revolutionary uproar, because he says that the mind has this automatic system of trying to correct itself, and recorrect itself out over and over again. So unless that basically doesn't happen, this system will stay. The main two things within breaking down the black family, and mind you, he compares this system as like he compares it to breaking a horse, breaking a slave as like breaking a horse. Like he compares this throughout the entire letter. Like that's kind of shows you how where the respect level was, where I mean how they thought of us back then. Like really how they still think of us now. That they thought of us like fucking animals. It treated us worse than animals. Shit is just sickening. But okay, so like the first thing he kind of mentions is breaking out a black family, black.
At all because obviously what's been said in this book is mainly facts. I don't see no lies told. Okay, I feel like I see so many results of the Willie Lynch letter, which is basically, taking the mother of the household and putting her in a position of where she has to run to the master, and she teaches her kids the same thing. Once you pull the man of the household, the daughter is raised to be independent, the son is raised to be basically fearful, and he's raised in a more, um, I guess, scared way. Another crazy, super crazy, dope kind of thing that I ended up finding out was that the Willie Lynch letter popped up here in St. Louis, Missouri at UMSL, the University of Missouri St. Louis, which is down the street from where I live right here in this room, of a librarian. She found this from another woman who worked at SLU, who gave it to her, who thought that it would be a good record, like a good thing to just like to upload in the directory. And once the librarian did was in 1975, 72, I can't really remember the exact year. That's when it started being public, and it didn't get really popular until the 80s. So I'm like, wow. All in all, when you're reading books like this that has been like a household staple to black people, or that has been a very dissected book over time, it's crazy to not only know that it is put together so sloppily, um, but that we don't know who wrote it. Like, if you look this up, Willie Lynch is undocumented. He's nobody. So I don't know. I wanted to come on here and just basically tell you what I thought about it, my research. I personally think the book has a lot of facts in it. I feel like the book definitely hit the nail on the head when it comes to how we live 300, 400 years later. Whoever stories and videos and things that I've seen over the years, I just feel so angry because it's like nobody cares about the children at all. No matter what posts I put up, black women always defend the very worst of black women. But the kicker is, they claim not to be like the women they're defending. I'm like, why are you going so hard for a woman that you're not even like? and the children are just left on their own. And so I'm so sick and tired and disgusted of black women in our community trying to paint the black woman like she's some type of saint, like she's a hero, like she should be worshipped. No. Black mothers, I'm gonna call you out. Like, you are everything that's wrong with our community. Everything that's wrong with our community can be traced back to the womb of a black mother. Reverse roles. Who is working today, brothers? The black woman. Who's making more money? The black woman. Who is more educated? The black woman. Whose world are we in? The white man's world. He allows in his world to put the woman in front. If the woman is in front, she's taking the role of who? The male. In the Bible and in the Quran, it says man is the maintainer of woman. But in the white man's kingdom, he reverses that which God has made nature for us and natural. He reverses our nature and he puts the woman in front. He makes his society where she can go out and be employed. But when you come and ask for a job, oh, I'm sorry, you are overqualified, not qualified enough. We just gave the last job to another person. So your woman is out in front of you. She's working. She's bringing home the bread and butter. He's got her bamboozled because now, put a little money in her pocket, she starts getting a little heavy voice. With a little money in her pocket, her mouth is uncontrollable. What is she saying to you? Father? She's saying, I make the money in this house. I pay the cost to be the boss. If you don't like what I say, you know what to do. She's not seeing the bigger picture, the hidden hand. She's not seeing the hidden hand of the white man, the slave master. We have the appearance of being free, but he's still in all of our affairs. To our lands, he is preparing his people, he's waking us up, he's stirring things within us to get us all in alignment so that we can be prepared to go when he calls for us to go now. Watch for my videos to come because I'll be giving more insight as I receive information in from the spiritual realm. I'll be speaking about it. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you'll be able to stay up to date with important information to come. Now today, I want to get into the Willie Lynch letter.
shedding light on this letter is to bring truth to what has occurred for centuries and centuries and centuries to our people. And it was actually a whole design set in place to keep us enslaved. Now, they knew that, or he knew, that to physically abuse the slave, eventually it just would not work because we would keep rising and fighting against the bonds of slavery. Because who's going to stay around and be enslaved if he wants to be one? So he, Willie Lynch, decided that he was going to kind of go around and spread what he felt to be his truth on how to control the slave. And so he ended up coming up with the Willie Lynch letter, and he actually ended up giving a speech to different plantations to give them the insight onto how to go about putting in enslavement practices. Now, first of all, controlling your black slaves. I've outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. So what he took, this is his simple list of differences. He took them and made them bigger. He took age, he took color, he took shade, he took intelligence, he took size, he took sex, he took sizes of plantation, status on the plantation, attitude of the owners, whether the slaves lived in the valley, on the hill, the east, the west, the north, they had fine hair, they had coarse hair, they were tall or they were short. He took these list of differences and he made them big. Sounds familiar. Your hair is like, it's natural, right? But if you've been, like I said, long, flowy hair, well, you got good hair. That's good hair. Why is that good hair? Good hair is having hair, period. Because God said, your hair gonna be like these. So God made you with bad hair? Oh, okay. Okay. So another thing he said was distrust. Make their distrust stronger. Okay? Make their distrust stronger. He said this method will work for hundreds of years, maybe even thousands. He was right because it's still working to this day. To this day. To this. Disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. And of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. Um, the book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I have listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done, or that we do daily, that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I
didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. You know the women that had men, if they got a bunch of children, they need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. You know, we talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home. We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars.
Sickening, but okay, so like the first thing he kind of mentions is working out a black family, the black unit, because like I said, you don't have a black family, you don't have a black, I mean, you can't have black unity. And you can't have a black revolutionary. I mean, I'm revolution. So you know what I'm saying. It creates a more submissive slave. It's a slave if you don't have a black family. And so the way he broke down the black family was one, pinning the black man and woman against each other, and also destroying the black male. I mean, the black male image, and that's pretty much it was kind of like a domino effect. You destroy the black male image, you pin the black male and black woman against each other. So how he decided you should break the black male image was you tie the man up, and mind you, before I even say this, black women are supposed to be dependent on black men. Back then, that's how it was. Before we came over this motherfucker, that's how it was. You know, black men. I mean, black women was dependent on the black man for protection, for providing. He was the leader. You know, he was who we was dependent on. That was our, you know, our rock basically. So there, his point was to destroy our rock, to make us non-dependent on him anymore, make us more dependent on ourselves and on the white man more so. So what he says you should do is tie the black man up to two different horses. The strongest black man at that, can't miss that. The strongest black man, most respected black man in the field, within your slaves, the strongest one. Tie him up to two different horses, different animals. Set him on fire. Have him be pulled apart. Kill him, right? Utilize him, basically. Like, I mean, just viciously kill them, basically. And then with the remaining black men, beat them into almost inch of the life, almost beat them into the dead. But don't kill them because you need them for breeding. So don't kill them, but basically beat the hell out of them until they're begging, they're pleading, until basically their masculinity is not shown. So you're beating them. The point of this was pretty much to beat the masculinity out of them. And while all of this is going on, the woman, the black woman, and the black child is watching. They're just standing by watching. They can't do anything. They just have to stand there and watch while the person that they depended on, the person that they love, the person that protecting them, the person that provided for them, their rock, their leader of their family just gets destroyed, literally right in front of their eyes, and they can't do anything. And so subconsciously, what he was saying that does to the woman is, like I just said, makes them more independent and less dependent on the man. Because now they're like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? I can't depend on him to protect me. He can't provide for me. He can't protect me in the scene. He's weak. He's the weakest in here now. He went from the strongest, like I just say, they took the strongest man and pulled him apart, burned him on fire, and all some shit. They took the strongest men and the remaining strong men and fucking embarrassed them, fucking took their masculinity away from them, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so to the woman, and especially more importantly the black child, because that's another thing he says in there is to focus more so on the children, focus on the future slaves rather than the current slaves, because it's going to be harder to break the current slaves rather than the future slaves, because you have children. Children are way more easily influenced, of course. You know, they're more easy to be scared, to put fear in them, you know, to install fear in them. And when you have the mother who has already kind of had this psychological breakdown from seeing a black man like that, she's going to pass that along to her children anyway. She's going to pass that teaching down to her children anyway. She's going to teach the man, and he says that she's going to reverse the role. She'll teach the woman to be the leader, to be the thinker, to be the negotiator. That's who you negotiate with. And you'll teach the man to be the submissive, to be the weak-minded one, but be strong and be strong in physicality because they still need him as a, you know what I'm saying? They want the strong bucks, should I say? You know what I'm saying? So they still taught them to be strong in physicality, but weak in the mind. Take the mind.
Can be traced back to the womb of a black mother. The black mother is the most vile, the most ratchet, the most disrespectful, the most uncouth, the most manipulative, the most rebellious, the most victim playing, the most oddish woman on the planet. We have become so nasty. We don't care about our children. We're pimping out our daughters. We're having sex in front of our children. We thinking that it's cute to have our child in Pampers twerking. We're putting up twerk videos. We're being thoughts. Like everything that is wrong with our community is because of black mothers.
But I am a firm believer if you have guns in your house, an educated mind is far greater than a wandering mind. So I think it is very much necessary that you both educate your children on guns and the gun rules and laws of whatever land you're on. Mr. Grace, how many school shooters we have a year? 45. How many random shooters we had this year? 255. If people got guns and children in their house, they should do what with them? Teach them about them. Are you worried about their safety? Oh no, not at all, not at all. They're very mature for their age. When you actually take the mystique out of a gun, kids are not that much interested. It's just like a toy. Like they're gonna play with the toy for a little bit, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I want a new one." Oh, what about my screen? I want that in it. What is that? You got it, watching it? Yes, I'm fine with that. Oh, look at the Hello Kitty one. It's easy. A lot of shootings take place after night, or it takes place after dark. So essentially, what she has to do, she has to locate her round, her magazine, and her weapon. Chamber both while answering questions from our curriculum. 3, 2, 1, go. Who is QEP doing? An African political activist, Arabian listening, her longer body skills, co-signing the Black Panther Party. What do Osama bin Laden, Gaddafi, and Saddam Hussein all have in common? Becomes the dollar bill of the Western Bank. Are you a buyer or a seller? Seller. Good job. I started guns and
The narration that he gives, and how he compares the brown skinned individual to an animal, and how he says in his letter that in order to control the brown skinned people, that go press on us, look at us as animals, basically. Because he used a horse in his analogy on how to control us. And he basically goes into detail about how to control us, how to put us against one another, how to even turn the other race, the oppressive race, against us as well. So that end result is nobody trusts the brown skinned individual. We don't even trust ourselves. And it's worked. Let me say that it has worked because for centuries and centuries and centuries we have hated each other. We have hated ourselves to the point of skin bleaching, body enhancements, so forth and so on. So his plan has worked like a charm. And there, for the most part, has been no patch in his system, no leak in his system. So, like I said, we're getting away from that now because the Creator has promised there to be justice for us. He has promised to come back to us and begin to lead us back into our land, back into the promised land. And he also goes on to say that another form, a way of control, is to strip away our language. So we don't even speak our native tongue anymore. We now speak an English language, which was given to us by our oppressor when we were brought here on ships through by way of slavery. So during that process, during the generations after that, they began to implement this whole structure on how to control the slave mentally. Need to read this book. White, black, and other need to read this book. Maybe not because it's not going to, well, it's not going to, I can't say it won't change things, but it's just good to be enlightened, to know why. Your history. They're not teaching us this in school. Never. And will not. However, it's important for us to teach our own children.
Versus the old black male. We use the dark skinned slave versus the light skinned slave, light skinned slave versus the dark skinned slave. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Because never mind. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. The female versus the male versus the female. He said, "You must also have all your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks." So that means when you go in the store and they're watching you, just because that's where that came. And then he said, "But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. Hence welfare. They must love and respect and trust only us. So if you get your food from me, you get your housing from me, you get everything from me. If I cut it off, your basic needs and necessities is gone. So one is a benefit to the person who's paying for it. Hence, Uncle Sam, you stay on it. I can control it because I provided you your basic needs. I mean, come on now.
This video so I can talk to you guys about the Willie Lynch letter. I said that if you clicked on this video, we could talk about it. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm not going to dissect the Willie Lynch letter because I think that that's something that's probably beyond my capabilities. And even if it's not, I was barely introduced to the existence of this writing a couple years ago at a time that I didn't even think to go dig up and do any research. And I tried to do a little bit today, and I noticed that I'm just going in a circle because half of the people who've read the letter reject it, and they say that it is a hoax, it's fake, and then other people truly believe the contents of this letter to be true. And I have my opinions. However, one of the strongest opinions that I hold when it comes to anything that I was not there to actually witness is you've gotta just do your research and decide whether or not you believe it. So far, when it comes to this letter, I haven't done much research, so I'm going to read it to you. And whether or not you've heard of it before, I really want you to comment in the box below. The reason why I'm talking about it is because it coincides with the point that I was making in the last video, More Than a Love Song by Jay Holiday. And he just talked about niggas in the ghetto. And I know that the Willie Lynch letter could possibly have a lot to do with why black people are still the way that they are today. So it reads.
She's working, feeling her empowerment that he gave her, the white man. You, every day, going out beating the road to find a job, and you come home empty-handed. Some of these women know that you're intelligent and even smarter than them. But then they begin to wonder, what's wrong with my John? What's wrong with my Henry? That he can't bring home no money to support his family. They don't know what's wrong, but they're asking, what's wrong? I'll tell you what's wrong. It is the white man who are in all of our affairs. This is his world and his kingdom. When he stole the black man from over in Africa, he never intended on him being a man. He never intended on him taking care of his woman. He never intended on him having power and authority
community is because of black mothers. Black mothers, y'all ain't shit. And unfortunately, because they have to come through your birth canal, and because we aren't giving them a chance, the children that we produce end up not being shit because they have shitty mothers. They have to watch and be raised in dysfunction. They have to watch their mothers get bent over. Got so many baby daddies, it sounds like a roll call. You're just stacking up baby daddies like poker chips. Baby daddies like poker chips. And after we get all ran through and gutted out, then we want somebody to make us their wife. Like, are we serious right now?
They said if you use this plan intentionally for a year, them slaves themselves for a year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you again. That was really the speech. You came and learned about the speech. Now let's get into this kid we were talking about. So this is the let's make a slave. Okay? That's literally the first thing that came to my mind when I read about them pulling the band apart, because of course those same slave masters, those same slave owners, all of these wicked ass crackers, white men who's in power, became, when the judicial system came about, were put into these positions of power, put into judges, lawyers, police, sheriffs, detectives, all of these positions of power. They was already wanted because that's who started it. Their people started that shit. So of course those were people who got position, you know. So of course nowadays, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's a coincidence that now we just see a whole spews. It's like, when did this shit start? It's like the Trayvon Martin story, like and I think that happened 2014, I want to say. Since then, there's been a whole spew, and really even before that, of videos of black men getting beat down by police, and not only just police, by other white men, white men that aren't even police. Trayvon Martin, he got killed by a white man just following him. He wasn't no damn police officer. You know what I'm saying? You had the other white dude, the other black dude who I think was I think matter of fact it was a surveillance camera. He was trying to stick up for a black woman and got killed by a white dude. It's a whole spew from Eric Garner to Mike Brown's to it's literally, I don't even have to sit here and list. You can literally Google it and it'll be multiple videos of black men being killed, being shot. And what this does is it projects an image of black men, because a lot of these videos, black men are not even being aggressive. They don't have weapons. They're running away. They're saying, please stop, I can't breathe. They have wounds, like they're being attacked by fucking dogs, like, and they have handcuffs on, like. So a lot of these a lot of these videos are not even saying that, oh, well, black men are, you know what I'm saying, black men are just attacking people and they're, being rightfully handled type shit. It's really pushing this image that they're weak, that they have no power, no, and that no matter what the circumstances is, whether they're armed, whether they're not armed, whether they're aggressive, not aggressive, whether they're running, not running, they'll always be in the position of the dead man. They will always end up in the dead man position. They'll always be in the powerless position because they are powerless. That is the image and the propaganda that they're pushing with these videos. You know what I'm saying? That's why they blasted them all on TV. And not to say that white men don't get harassed, even though it's disproportionately not the same amount that happens. White men don't get harassed. But the few videos I have seen of white men getting harassed by the police don't even make it to mass media news. It's like, seriously, they don't even make it to mass media. They push black men doing it because that's the image they want to push for black men. And they want, not white women, black women to see that, especially, and black children, and black boys to see this type of shit. And not only that, even they try to push this narrative of black men being cowardly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this whole narrative of black men being cowardly as well, because there's so many, like, it's ridiculous how many videos there are of black men putting their hands on black women. What's even worse though is black men sitting around and watching why this shit happen. Why they on their phones like World Star? Why they on their phones like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I can't believe he just hit you. Like, it's so many fucking videos like that where black men have literally just sat around. Matter of fact, I just got on Twitter. I forgot. I just scrolled on them. worse, but no, it does make it worse because black men on the goddamn train watching this crackadoodle, or whatever he is, Hispanic, whatever the fuck he is. But this dude is slaps this black woman on the ass, and she's slapping him back and shit like that, cursing him out and all some shit. While black men is literally, I counted, I think I seen 2 or 3, I couldn't tell if the other dude was black or not. But 2 or 3 black men, one of the black men are sitting literally right beside this nigga and does nothing. Literally, they don't know it's a social experiment. They think this shit is real. So you gonna sit there and not do nothing? And then afterwards, after she hit him, is, oh, why would you do that to her, man? That's just disrespectful. She can wear what she wants. And then on top of that, even other men is on the train. That's not really my goddamn concern, though. The other white boys that was on the train. It's not their job to protect us. It's black men's job to do that. So it's 2 black men on that train who stood there and let this shit happen. I'm like, what the fuck? And then a black dude, that's what I was saying on Twitter, a black dude fucking quoted my tweet because I inserted, I forgot what I said. I said something like the fact that she had to the fact that she had to defend herself instead of a black man doing it, you know what I'm saying, or one of these men on the train doing it, is just ridiculous. He gonna quote my shit talking about something. When have you intervened with a tweet? I mean, with not a tweet. When have you intervened in a situation like this? Or why is it a man's job to do this? I'm like, what? Why is it a man's job to do this? Nigga, who the fuck raised you? Who raised you? Like, seriously, I don't even understand. Like, I mean, I don't understand, but damn, that shit is really sad. Like, it's really sad that you have black men really thinking like this, because that's apparently how these other black men on this train was thinking. Why is it my job to step in? Why do I gotta step up and hit the nigga if he did something to a black woman? That ain't my girl. Like, that is just ridiculous. The separation we have within the black community is so sad. Like, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But that even in that simple scenario that somebody's slapping a woman on the ass, you couldn't even step up and say nothing to the man like a man. Even if you was going to hit him, you could at least say something. You could have been like, sister, don't say nothing, I got this. Look, bro, you ain't gonna be disrespecting a woman in front of me. You know what I'm saying? You do it again, I'm gonna break your fucking hand. Something, like, say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you said nothing. And then when you did say something, it was after she hit the thing. It really brainwashes children and women to believe that they don't need black men because we can't feel dependent on them because of shit like this, because of institutional racism. And then you have these black men walking around talking about, I don't have to protect black women, that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? Allowing this disrespect to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then when it does, when a few black men that do step up and do something get killed or get shot or go to jail or some other wild shit happens to them, it subconsciously programs children, more importantly, but women as well, that's raising these children, especially in single households, because we all know, you know what I'm saying, we've all talked about this before, disproportionately, black men in jail, black men on drugs, all this other shit. So it's a lot of black women raising single parent households. It's a lot of black women raising single parent households. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of friends. I know a lot of people who, myself personally, black people myself, who's raised in a single parent household just by their mother. So, but yeah, these black women are seeing this, and these black children are seeing this, are seeing it, and then having it in home as well, seeing that their daddy's not there, or is neglectful, or is in jail, or is on child support and only sees you two weekends out the month or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Sees this type of stuff and is subconsciously being programmed to think that we don't need black men, to think that we should not depend on black men, and that black men are just not dependable. Black men and to those little black boys and other black men are thinking, I am not dependable. I can't be dependable. I am powerless. Even if I try to do something, I can't do nothing. Like, this whole narrative that we don't need each other, that we don't need them and they don't need us type shit, or they don't have to do anything, they don't have to protect us, they don't have to provide. With these black women who's raising these children, who are joining this bullshit ass feminist movement, like, come on, we've already broken that down as well. We got a video on that as well. Y'all want to go back and look at that, but yeah, we all know that that feminist movement is not for black women. It's not for any woman really, except for a white woman, because that's what
Could very well have stemmed from the writings in this letter, but I do want to ask you to. And I will leave comments down below and we can start the discussion. But I do want to say that isn't it interesting that black people have embodied so many of these characteristics that were written about 300 years ago, that we still see that in our people today, that I grew up expecting to get into it with females of my own color more than I expected to get into it with Mexicans or white girls or Asians or Indians or anything like that. And that when you walk out your house and you're living in a black community, you don't feel safe. But in the same instance, you can drive into a neighborhood with a lot of Caucasians or Hispanics, and for the most part, not really feel worried at all. I just think that all these things are very interesting. I think it's a very interesting subject of debate and discussion.
To make a slave. So you're gonna need a nigger female, a nigger male, and a nigger child. Not my words. I'm just the messenger. Okay. So let's make a slave. I told you I can't read it. Wait, y'all gotta get this book and read. It's a short read. It's only 45 pages. Let me go show y'all. It's literally only 45 pages, and the words on the page is super big. So probably like 20 some pages. Okay. So in making them a slave, the ingredients, the recipe, everything you'll need is 6 rules. They call them cardinal rules for making a Negro. So I'm paraphrasing. Basically, a natural Negro in its natural state is not good for me. Not good at all. It must be broken, okay? And you must pay attention to the female, the mother, and the youngest offspring, okay? Then, if 1 through 3 fails, you gotta go to number 4, which is crossbreeding. Number 5 is differences in language. So communication will not work. 6 is leave the body, take the man. They say you must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring because you must concentrate on the future generation. Therefore, if you break the female, meaning the mother, she will break the offspring in the early years of development. Next chapter is the breaking process of an African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows a sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use a bullwhip on her to extract, this is what it says, that little bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her in doing so, or you will spoil good economics. When in complete submission, they will train their offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Again, just the message. Break the woman. Again, just the message. Break the woman, so she raised broken children. So she raised a man, this is what it says, destroy the male enemy. So she raises her son to be fearful and to be mentally weak, independent, and but physically strong. And she raised her daughter to be independent. So the woman will be at the forefront. The woman gonna be the shooter, and the man is gonna be behind and scared. This is the plot. This is the poet, and this is the plan. And it's written in plain sight. You have access to it. Without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up. Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who are, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black feminine female emotionalism. They're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge.
We have daughters who grow up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it.
We mock her, but we turn up with Amber Rose. We defend Mimi and her sex tape, but the young woman, we make her feel dirty. We say, oh, her father is trying to control her sexuality. Her father's trying to control her sexuality by trying to teach his daughter to respect herself. Which one do you prefer? You want the one that's giving oral sex in the back of the car? Or do you want the one that's trying to keep herself chaste? Because that one didn't seem to satisfy you either. See, we always want to be the victim. We always want to be unaccountable. We don't want to take any responsibility for what's going on in our community. Absolutely none. And the reason the community is the way it is because of black women and black mothers. And don't believe the hype. Black women don't want change. We don't. It sounds good, but we love things exactly the way we are. Because if we wanted real change, then we would take responsibility. We would look at ourselves and be like, you know what? We are messing up. As mothers, we are messing up. As women, we are out of control. And we'd be like, you can't tell us what to do. You can't tell us how to dress. We should be able to do what we want to do. That's the thing. We want to do what we want to do, but don't want to have any consequences, and want you to come and rescue us and protect us and call us queens. That's so illogical on so many different levels. Want to blame everything on an absent father, and I keep telling you all, a present mother is going to always trump an absent father. Black woman, you're going to really look, hey, you don't even have to start in the community. Look in your own house. You're going to look in your house and look in our community, and you're going to tell me that the black mother is doing everything right? Lie. We are failing our children. We are failing our daughters. We are failing our sons. We'd rather be out here being hoes than being mothers. We are raising our daughters to be hoes. We are raising our daughters not to have any respect, not to have any self-love. We are raising little version of whores just like us. Everything that they learn from watching our whorish behinds. And I'm so sick and tired of us acting like we don't contribute anything to our community when we are the problem. Black mothers aren't no angels. We the devils. We don't want to take accountability for anything, even when there's clear. We don't want to take accountability for anything, even when there's clear evidence in our faces. We'll still say, not all. But damn, how many does it take? It only takes one womb to create generations of dysfunction. Black women love to bully somebody and scare somebody. Oh, your mama black. What does that mean? I know my mother's black. So what? Like, you want me to not say anything because she gave me life? But can I not talk about the quality or lack thereof of life she gave me? And then you tell men, oh, you must have mommy issues. Well, damn, if his mama black and he have mommy issues, didn't his black mother give him those issues? And if his black mother gave him those issues, should not the black mother be examined?
For the black woman, but none for the black man. Confusing our relationships. We have been put out in front for so long, sisters, until we have lost our femininity. It is not your fault. It was by design. Just as lesbianism is by design. He seeded you for role reversal. If you are paying the lights, the gas, the rent, and you are putting the food on the table with no help from the male, then you automatically feel like I'm a man.
Okay. And now I have to warn you, this can be very graphic, but it needs to be mentioned. Needs to be spoken about. Therefore, here we go. This is why the African American woman is the backbone of the family. And why I discovered I was such a strong black woman. I thought it was just so cool. I'm a strong black woman. Power to the people. Have mercy. Did not know it was part of the conditioning. Part of the conditioning. The breaking process of the African woman. Take the female. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your designs willingly. Test her in every way, because she's the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any signs of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area. Of the subject matter concerning what? Let me just put this here and see what happens. Okay, great. Let me just fix this. Deeper in the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reversed the relationships. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. So, hear this. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. And she would have a limited protective dependency toward her independent male offspring, and would raise female offsprings to be dependent like her. Nature had provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death. Now, I'm thinking in my head right now, I need to go back to that part, so this way you'll know what this nigger woman has seen before before the breaking process. So I'm going to go to that point of that part of the letters here and explain to you what they did. It's called keep the body and take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now the breaking process is the same for horse and nigger, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, you must keep your eye focused on the female and the offspring of the horse and the nigger. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on the future generations. Therefore, if you break the female, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. Now, this is African American woman is the backbone, okay? Therefore, if you break the female, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you, for her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring, take the stud horse, break him for limited containment, completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare and stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will train the infant horse to eat out of your hand as well. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to compare the reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and the most relentless nigger, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, the female and the nigger infant, tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse faced in opposite directions, pull him afire and beat both horses to pull him, oh no, set him afire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining niggers. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him where he can be used for future breeding. Have mercy. Now, can you imagine?
Be no woman to no man. How to function in a house with a man. Because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together.
Take the male from the female, she will be frozen mentally, and she will have an independent psychology and raise her offspring into reverse roles. She will teach him and instill in him fear, and he will subconsciously fear for his life, so he will be raised mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Okay, so they got a warning. They got a warning. This is a warning sign. If all else fails, they said our experts warned us about the possibilities of this phenomenon occurring. The mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. So basically, history not going to continue to repeat itself. After a while, they're going to be like, hey, let change some things right here. Let change some things right here. So if that were to happen, the next thing they would want to introduce is crossbreeding. Crossbreeding niggas mean taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many nigger women as possible, varying the drops by the various tones that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until a circle of color appears that you desire.
Give him those issues, and if his black mother gave him those issues, should not the black mother be examined? Oh yeah, black mother, I've got you under my microscope. I see you, black mother, and I'm calling you out for the dysfunctional, ratchet,
mother that you are. I'm tired of seeing children being disregarded because everybody wants to protect the black mother. And for what? For what? That is a shame that we will protect the worst among us and won't save the babies.
The black men are saying, I am not dependable. I can't be dependable. I am powerless. Even if I try to do something, I can't do nothing. Like this whole narrative that that we don't need each other, that we don't need them and they don't need us type shit, or they don't have to do anything, they don't have to protect us, they don't have to provide. With these black women who's raising these children, who are joining this feminist bullshit ass feminist movement, like come on, we've already broken that down as well. We got a video on that as well. If y'all want to go back and look at that, but yeah, we all know that the that feminist movement is not for black women. It's not for any woman really, except for white women, because that's what it's for. And it's not even a pro woman movement. It's an anti male movement. Really, so more to speak. It's not an anti woman. It's not a pro woman movement. It's an anti male movement, especially anti black male movement. Like, and so these women join these feminist groups, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't need a man. I don't want a man. I don't want a black man." At that, because you have a lot of these black women feminists marrying white men. You know what I'm saying? Marrying these fucking white men, or marrying, or going gay, or just or staying single and saying, "I don't need nobody. I'm independent. I can do it. I can do bad all by myself." Type narrative, and then they spew these things because when all this happens, you can create a bitter black woman. So that's why you also have this bitter black woman narrative. And then you have, from that bitter black woman, you have them spewing things to their children or for their children. Oh, your father ain't shit. Oh, your father